Hey everybody, welcome back. And if you're new, my name is Chris. I moved everything in today because the weather wasn't quite cooperating. It has been quite a while since I filmed a video. I think it's been about 3 weeks. I've been on vacation with my family and I am back ready to get into the swing of things. And before I get started, I wanted to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for supporting me these past 2.5 years. I just reached 20,000 subscribers, which I never thought would happen. I never thought I would reach 10,000 subscribers. And a long time ago, I thought, well, when I reach 10,000 subscribers, I'm gonna call it quits. Well, okay, 10,000, we hit 10,000. And then I said, okay, when I hit 20,000, I will, and I'm comfortable in front of the camera, I will call it quits. And here we are. And as long as I'm having a good time and it doesn't feel like a grind or a job, I will continue to put out content, and I'm still having fun. So here we are, 20,000 subscribers in. I thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who follow me, watch me, subscribe to me, and get to know me in the comments section of the video. I've actually made several friends here and on Instagram through that route of communication. Before I get started, I have a little teeny kind of a celebratory giveaway for me reaching 20,000 subscribers. I was graciously gifted a bottle of fragrance from Carner, Barcelona. And this is called Dragon. I have the Discovery set and I have had an opportunity to sample this, and I am thrilled to be able to give it away to somebody. I will say that this leans, I should probably check and make sure it is in one piece, and it is. So this to me leans on the masculine side. So if this is not your cup of tea and you win the giveaway, the alternative is I will make 25 decants of any perfumes in my collection that I still have. And that, let me tell you, that is a labor of love. It takes me forever to do that because it's time consuming and I watch movies when I do it. So it's like 2.5 hours in, I've made 6 decants. Anyways, so if you are the winner of my giveaway, I will give you the opportunity to choose this beautiful fragrance or 25 decants of any one of my perfumes. Now, if this one is not chosen and the winner decides to get my decants instead, I will give this away on a video that is dedicated to maybe like male fragrances. I still haven't done, I don't think I've ever done a video based on like my favorite fragrances on a man. Maybe I'll do that. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments section. So today's video I thought would be fun to do something similar or a similar take on a video I did about a year ago. Fragrances that I acquired because I smelled them on someone else. And that was a really fun kind of a walk through memory lane video for me. I thought I would kind of do a different spin. Fragrances that other people bought because they smelled it on me. And let me tell you, those people include my friends, family, and coworkers. And they are a tough crowd, let me tell you. I wear something different every day to work, for example, and it is very rare that I wear a fragrance that somebody wants to purchase. So out of all the fragrance that I've been wearing, and I've been around lots of people with school functions, work, family, friends, I only have 9 perfumes here, I think. 9, maybe 10. Fragrances that someone purchased because they smelled it on me. So with that, I'm going to dive right in. Now I'm going to start with what some might consider an oldie but a goodie. This is a fragrance that I wore, particularly when my kids were in primary and middle school, when I was going to be at any function, because I knew this is a universally appealing fragrance. Every single time I wore this, I would get compliments. It's not super loud, it's not super obnoxious, and it has a nice little scent bubble. It's a classic, and it is Narciso Rodriguez For Her, the EDP. I have both EDT and the EDP. And the reason I showed this one is because one of the mothers at my children's school loved this perfume. I'm a hugger, and every time we would have some sort of school function, I would give her a hug and she would just, oh my gosh, you smell so good, you're wearing that perfume again. She never asked me what I was wearing. She just said I smelled so good. And I remember Sarah always loved this perfume. Now, we just happened to show up at a fundraiser I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago. I didn't know she was going to be there. She probably didn't know I was going to be there. I saw a bunch of people. I knew it was for wounded veterans. And she gave me a big hug. This was a black tie affair. So I was not wearing this fragrance. This is more of an everyday fragrance for me. She gave me a big hug and she said, "You're not wearing my favorite perfume, and by the way, what is it?" And so I told her. So the EDP and the EDT that's in the black bottle are very similar. The EDT, which is the OG, has, orange blossom, it has patchouli, and there's osmanthus, which has like an apricot vibe. The EDP, so there's rose and peach instead of the orange blossom and osmanthus. There's still that musk. Musk is the most prominent note out of everything, and a little patchouli in the background. This is not a beast mode, but again, you can smell it on me when you come into my scent bubble, give me a hug. And I want to say I saw Sarah, I don't know, maybe 6 months later at a school function, and guess what she smelled like? She smelled like this one. She had, that night when I told her, she had like put it in her phone and actually purchased it. I don't know, went to Nordstrom's and purchased it. She smelled so great, and it is one of my all-time favorite designer perfumes. The OG in particular is a masterpiece. There was nothing like it when it came out. And one or the other will always be in my perfume collection. I will say that there is a new flanker that came out, and that was I showed it in my video, purchaser pass, I want to say for July. It is Narciso Rodriguez For Her Forever. And to me, it is a combination of the EDT and the EDP. The new flanker is where it's at. So I'm going to start off with an oldie, but a goodie and classic. The next one is a fragrance that I got last spring or winter, and it is Burberry Her, the EDT. I love this fragrance. I've said it before that the fragrance smells like the bottle looks, which is this light green color, and it just smells like a beautiful kind of a fruity, fresh perfume with a little greenness. So there's pear, there's peony, blackcurrant, and strawberry, and they're all kind of blended so nicely in here. It does have a little greenness, and I want to say the greenness is fresh, and it's from cassis, which are the leaves and the twigs of the blackcurrant plant. So it adds a little bit of greenness. If it's too strong, if the cassis is too strong, it just overwhelms the fragrance, and I typically don't like those. It's just right. Some of my out-of-town family came into town to visit me last summer, and my sister-in-law, I have many sister-in-laws, one of my sister-in-laws is very picky. She doesn't wear a lot of fragrance. In fact, the only fragrance that she really kind of got along with was Roxy, and the other fragrance was Marc Jacobs. The peony is very strong, the blackcurrant's very strong, and the strawberry fruity notes are also a big part of this, in addition to the blackcurrant, if I didn't mention already. And for an EDT, this has amazing lasting power. Now, my out-of-town family was here. They came over we grilled outside, and I knew that my sister-in-law was very sensitive to fragrances, and so I wore this one. And again, she gave me a hug and said, "You smell great. What is it?" I told her what it was, and she spent several hours, we were chit-chatting and have a good old time. And the next day went to, I think it was like Sephora or Nordstrom's, and purchased a bottle and loves it. The next one is another classic. I know many of you are probably very, very bored with this perfume. Miraculously, I am not. It is one of the, I think it's really a designer masterpiece, even though it's not super complicated. It's just so incredibly pleasing. It is the fragrance that I compliment people the most when I'm out and about and I smell somebody who smells good. I say, "You smell really good. I have a feeling I know what it is." And they always tell me it's Chanel Chance Eau Tendre. And this is the EDT. And I used to wear this a lot. This is not my first bottle, but I used to wear this all the time. All the time. It's very, it's a very nice, fresh, fruity, floral perfume. It's got quince, flowers, some hyacinth. It's just a simple, beautiful composition, and I used to wear this to work because it is light wearing, and my lovely, lovely nurse loved it when I wore this, bought herself a bottle, and then I loved it when she wore it to work. And then all of a sudden I was like, Nancy, she wasn't smelling like Chanel Chance Eau Tendre. And I was like, oh, I miss you. Where are you, Chanel Chance? And she said, I ran out. She blew through the bottle. And so that Christmas, I got her a bottle after she bought a bottle. Smelling this on me, an oldie but a goodie, a classic. So this next one was in my video last year. I bought this fragrance because I smelled this on somebody at a gym. Believe it or not, somebody wore this fragrance, Good Girl Gone Bad, to a high intensity interval class. Very bougie. When I wear this to work, this is one of my most complimented scents by far. I mean, one of my coworkers, she just couldn't get it out of her mind how good this smelled. I told her what it was, and she tracked down like the travel size, I want to say at Sephora, and wore that until, again, Christmas. She asked her spouse for this fragrance for Christmas, and I think it was like in between her spouse and her sisters. They kind of came together and got the fragrance. She never wears it to work because she says it's too fancy, but she loves this one. And I had actually a good friend of mine who loved this when I wore it, and again asked her spouse, put it on the Christmas list. And when she got the fragrance, it just didn't smell. I was like, Karen, what are you wearing? And she said, I'm wearing Good Girl Gone Bad. And I'm like, no, you're not. Boy, it smells really different on you. And I found her bottle and I smelled it. Didn't smell anything like the original. It had like this heavy blast of alcohol. It just didn't smell right. And I said, Karen, I don't think that that's a real perfume. I think that that's a fake. And I asked her, to find out where her husband got the fragrance. And lo and behold, he got it from Amazon. You guys know Amazon is the worst place to buy niche fragrances. You are almost guaranteed to get a fake, So this is so pretty and unique. And I think what gives it its uniqueness is osmanthus, which smells like apricot. So it's like a peachy apricot, got a lot of white flowers, a little bit of rose, some amber, and definitely cedar in the base. To me, the cedar really anchors the perfume, kind of gives it some uniqueness, and it's just a touch powdery. Again, very light wearing. I mean, it's not a skin scent, but it is not a powerhouse. When I wear this and I'm going to wear it to work and I want it to last kind of all day, I do coat myself and spray my hair. There is an extreme form. I mean, my bottle is 70% full, so I don't need the extreme form. I'm going to work my way through this and then we'll see. I have heard that the performance on that is much better. So Good Girl Gone Bad is a popular one. Perfect. A fragrance that I have not spoken about in a long time is another one by the house of Boucheron, and this is Iris to Syracuse. I have loved so many in this line. They are, if you can get them at the gray market, if you can get them on discount, they are a great bang for your buck. And I want to say I bought this for like $125 a couple of years ago on Fragrance Net. Anyway, I wore this to work. Had one of my friends who's also a coworker really kind of follow me. She said, oh my gosh, Chris, you smell so good. What is it? I told her what it was. She was like, send it to me. Send me a picture on your phone and the name and where I can buy it. And within the month, she had this, and I had kind of forgotten about it. And then maybe about a month ago, I was like, Sarah, you smell really good. It wasn't until she came right up on me. But I was like, Sarah, you smell really good. And she's like, it's the one that you were wearing. I go, Sarah, I wear something different every day. She goes, it's the one I bought because of you. She said it's one that's got like a little purple tint to it. I had to think about it because I have a lot of fragrances. And it wasn't until about 30 minutes later I said, oh, you got the Boucheron, the Iris fragrance. I didn't recognize it because she was wearing it, like she sprayed one time. I'm like, Sarah, I can hardly smell it, so it was a little bit difficult to recognize. But it is a lovely take on an Iris fragrance. It's bright, it's sweet, it's a little peppery in the opening. I want to say there's pear here, a little mandarin. It gives it a little bit of sweetness. It's definitely powdery, and that's for sure from the Iris. That has a little bit of heliotrope. It's a touch waxy too. Iris can be waxy at the same time. So it's powdery but not full on makeup bag, and it's waxy but not like overwhelming lipstick. It's right there in the middle. It's just a really pleasant, beautiful, underrated Iris perfume that nobody talks about, and somebody bought because they smelled it on me. Okay, the next one is one of my most complimented fragrances. It is a fragrance I do wear to work, and it's called Meliora. I've talked about it so many times. This is a fruity floral. I hate to say fruity floral because some people will be like, fruity florals, they're so boring. This is like fruity floral to the next level. There are some, black currant, there are red berries in here. I get a lot of raspberry and some florals, and I get like a dewy, kind of a watery rose with a little bit of woods, and another one with cassis. The cassis is toned down. It's not as loud in here, and it just comes together to make this beautiful fragrance that I wear to work because it's so pretty and universally likable. And every time I wear it, I get compliments. Now I do have there's a new member at work. There's a new member at work, and she really, really loves this fragrance, and she's always asking what I'm wearing when I'm wearing it. And she's like, where do I buy it? And I'm like, well, it's on the pricey side. If you really, really like it. And she's just starting out. She just got out of her schooling. So I knew that like spending this kind of money on a perfume wasn't going to be reasonable. So I said, you know what, this one's really expensive. This is not a beginner perfume. There's another one I can suggest that smells very, very similar and is about $30. So I told her about Amethyst. And I've done a direct comparison between the two of those. If I will remember, I will link it down below. And I said, you're gonna save a ton of money and you're barely gonna know the difference. To me, Amethyst has a lot more dark berries, and it's a little bit more twiggy, leafy. It's a little bit greener. It's a little bit more musky, and the performance is really great. It has great performance, and again, it's $30. So I kind of cheated in that she didn't buy this perfume directly, but something that smelled very similar because she loved how this smelled when I wore it. So the second to last one is from an indie house that I discovered over on Instagram. And the name of the house is Who is Elijah, and the one I hold in my hand is called Morning After. They had a really nice discovery set last year. The discovery set was really nice because it was like in a travel size, so I loved it, and I got it on sale around like before Christmas, and I think I loved a couple and liked most of them. I think there was one at the time I just didn't think was me, which actually now that I have revisited, I really enjoy it. But the one I really liked and was the one I really loved, and it was the first full bottle, is called His Her. And it really is it's very similar. It's not a dupe house, but it is similar. It's going to get you in the ballpark of Le Labo Santal 33, which is not really a fragrance for me. On some people that I know, it has that dill pickle smell, and on me, I really like it. I don't get dill pickle, but it's a little bit more, it just leans a tad masculine. There are other sandalwoods, I have a zillion sandalwoods that I just prefer more. And I really, really liked His Her because it was kind of a more feminine take on that DNA. I really enjoyed it, so I bought the full bottle. And then they came out with a new fragrance in January, and I bought it blindly because I liked pretty much everything else. And that new fragrance was called Morning After, and I love this one. It's very similar to His Her, but there are some big differences. Again, a sandalwood dominant perfume. Another fragrance that's going to get you really in the ballpark of Santal 33. But this one has a fresh sandalwood. It is like a little bit green. So the sandalwood is more of a cucumber freshness than a dill or a dill pickle. It does not pull that way at all. And the greenness in this is, I think there's violet leaf, and this has a lot of cardamom. So this is kind of like a sandalwood cardamom bomb, and then a little bit of greenness from some violet leaf and some other notes in here. Maybe just a teensy bit of vanilla in the dry down, but it's not a sweet fragrance at all. I love this perfume. I wanted to wear this all the time in the winter, and I wore this to work a lot. Just to me, just seems like a great work scent, and it was like compliments galore. And some of my harshest critics are a couple of my co-workers at work. One in particular is Terry. She doesn't like anything gourmand, doesn't like vanilla, doesn't like coconut, doesn't like anything sweet. Not too floral, but she likes rose, like a light tea rose. It's about all she likes. I wore this and she's like, I have to find out what you're wearing because you smell really good and I'd like to get a bottle of that because you know how picky I am. And I told her that, you know, it's a small niche house, blah, blah, blah. And I actually gave her my sample that was included in an order. Gave her my sample that was included in an order that I had placed. And because they give you, when you buy a bottle, they give you a sample. I never return perfumes unless they're broken, but for people who, you know, blind buy, and you can sample, and if you don't like the sample, I think you send it back, and it might even be free returns. Anyway, so I gave her my sample that I got included with the purchase, and like 2-3 days, she's like, I need that perfume. Where did you get it? I told her that it was a fragrance house it was like a clean fragrance house from Australia, but they do have a US distributor. She said, if you hear about any sales, let me know. And lo and behold, like 3 weeks ago, they celebrated their year anniversary on Instagram. They have blown up. This brand is now carried in Anthropologie. So they have almost everything in Anthropologie. I checked right before the video. They do not have morning after yet, but they have pretty much everything else, all their other offerings. And I order from their website because, again, they have a distributor and I don't have to pay, you know, the shipping across sea. I think it's like free shipping if you order a certain amount. So I said, hey, Terry, they're having a 20-25% off sale for their anniversary. You know, you might want to buy it now instead of waiting for Christmas. And she bought a bottle and hasn't worn it to work yet because she says it's too special. She's going to have it for like dates out and nights out. But one of my pickiest friends bought this perfume right here after smelling it on me. And the last one is relatively new in my collection. I got this about maybe 3-4 months ago. This one is a magnolia centered fragrance. So it's got florals in it. But it's magnolia prominent. It's got a little bit of jasmine. I want to say ylang. So it's floral. It's got some fruity sweetness, a little bit of sweetness, pear and orange, or mandarin, pear and orange. And it's got some spiciness. So there's anise and giving it a little bit of kick, a little bit of spiciness, but it doesn't smell like licorice. And it's got some sweetness. So sweetness from some of the fruitiness, and sweetness from, I want to say, I know there's resins. I think there's benzoin and maybe even vanilla. So there's sweetness in here, but it is not gourmand. So it's a fresh floral with fruity nuances, fruity sweetness, and some sweetness in the background. It's super unique. There's something about it that is slightly like aquatic, oceanic. There are no aquatic notes, no oceanic notes, no salt. But it does. It just kind of smells like an island paradise without being a sunscreen. And I was getting ready for a video that I did like a month or two ago. And so I was wearing this like every day and I wore it to work. And oh my goodness, it was one of the most complimented perfumes ever. Like everybody who came into my office said, oh my gosh, you smell so good. What are you wearing? I've never smelled it before. I go, I know, it's something that's relatively new to me. And everybody wanted to know what I was wearing. Even at the end of the day, it was like 4:30, we were winding down. And one of my coworkers said, you're so lucky, you still smell good and your perfume's lasting all day. And it did. I did kind of coat myself, but I sprayed it at 7. It was going strong at like 4:30. Really, really good lasting power. And one of the more shy, it's a woman that I don't typically work with, came into my office. She said, you smell so good. Can you write down the name of that perfume and tell me where I can get it? Can I get it at Macy's? Because I'll just go right after work and pick it up. I love it so much. And I know my boyfriend's going to love it. So we sat down at the computer. We found it at 2 different places. It was at Beverly Hills Perfumery and ZGO Perfumery, which is a place in San Francisco. I order a lot from them. And as we were doing this web search, I noticed that it had popped up under luxury scent box. And I said, you know what? This is a great little perfume club. I belong to it. I belong to several. I said, it's a really nice way of trying perfumes. Like you try before you buy. It's only like $20 a month. I can't remember if it's like $20, $25, something around that. And you can pick out one perfume a month And if you like it and you blow through your travel, you can buy a larger size. Anyway, so she wrote down all the information, and I think I saw her like 2 weeks later. She had joined Luxury Scent Box, and her first perfume on the way is Ibiza Nights. So she at least has the travel. Who knows if she will upsize to the larger, but it's really nice that that was available for somebody who is just kind of starting out their journey. I would say if you're in Europe, the easiest place to purchase from is Carner, from the Carner Barcelona website. If you're in the and I do have a coupon code, I want to say, for Carner Barcelona. I'll list it down below. If you're in the States, they do sell it at, like I said, ZGO Perfumery, Beverly Hills Perfumery, and as far as I know, it's still probably available at Luxury Scent Box. So a couple places to check it out if you are interested. And that does it for my "You smell so good, what are you wearing? I want to buy that fragrance" a flip on the video I did last summer, perfumes I bought because I smelled them on someone else. Again, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the 20,000 of you who are current subscribers to my channel. That helps me out a lot. It really does help people's channel when you watch their content and subscribe, and it is free. Anyway, so back to the giveaway, the 20,000 giveaway. If you are interested, let me know in the comments below. On most of my giveaways, I like to let them run a couple weeks. What I found is, like, people forget. They forget to check the comments when I let them know that they won, or they forget to check my community board when I announce it. I'm gonna let it go 1 week, so it's gonna go 1 week, Sunday to Sunday. I will reply to your comment below, and I will ask you which you would like. Where'd it go? The brand new Carner Barcelona fragrance, or 25 hand decanted perfumes of your choice in my collection, from me to you. I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and with that, I will see you on the next one, which will be in about 5 minutes.